Why aren't North Carolina-based schools with strong football traditions, mainly Appalachian State and East Carolina in Greenville, App State and Boone, of course, why aren't they ever mentioned as ACC expansion candidates or targets? I have seen a lot of speculation on this. Sometimes I've even seen angry, misdirected nonsense on this from people who should know better. Over the years, the speculation has been that UNC and/or NC State, as the top two public universities here in North Carolina, and obviously both are founding members of the ACC, that they have had some sort of vendetta against the Pirates and would never allow them or App State into the ACC. I am not saying that there are not people who do not like each other, especially in those various fan bases. But the vendetta claims miss one very important aspect that makes the entire debate an entirely moot point. One quick side note, my only son is a proud graduate of ECU. My only daughter is a soon-to-be proud graduate of App State. So I have a soft spot in my heart personally for both of those places. I've been to both schools dozens of times. We're bringing our new Old North State tailgate and traveling sports circus to both Boone and Greenville this year, including for the Pirates' trip to Boone to face the Mountaineers on September 16th. And they have always been a big part of what we've done with these various and different incarnations of the David Glenn Show over the last 25 years, dating all the way back to the late 1990s. The reality of the matter, though, is that there has never been a shred of interest in the ACC adding ECU, App State, or any other North Carolina-based school for that matter. And it is definitely not because of some underlying disrespect or antagonism toward the Pirates or the Mountaineers from anyone at UNC, NC State, or anywhere else in the ACC. There is a much more innocuous explanation for this. While there have been a small number of exceptions to this general rule I am going to share with you, the overwhelming majority of realignment in college sports over the last 3 decades has included a desire to add a new state or new states to a league's geographic footprint. By definition, that means expanding to states where a league does not already have a team or teams. Think about it. The expanded Big Ten will have 18 schools in 15 different states. The expanded SEC will have 16 schools in 12 different states. Neither of those two super heavyweight leagues, which are doing all the smartest things financially, has more than 2 schools in any single state. And that is not an accident. There's absolutely an intention behind such things because it feeds the need to cultivate new and different parts of the United States in ways that inspire those new places to begin to care more about Big Ten sports or SEC sports or ACC sports or whatever else. The ACC already has not 2, not 3, but 4 schools in the great state of North Carolina, in Duke, UNC, NC State, and Wake Forest, of course. The only other example of such a phenomenon in any of the Power 4 conferences is in the Big 12, and it's with the absolutely enormous state of Texas, which now counts Baylor and Houston and Texas Christian and Texas Tech as members. I would argue that it is not mere coincidence that the ACC and the Big 12 are struggling financially compared to the Big 10 and the SEC, whose memberships in those latter leagues for decades have consisted overwhelmingly of large public flagship universities in a wide variety of very populous states. Those are exactly the sorts of things, along with high-level football, that translate into bigger TV audiences and more TV dollars. Another thing to remember, as I outlined earlier with the Stanford, Cal, and even SMU examples, is the dramatic difference between what the ACC network, Big Ten network, and SEC network can charge to in-market consumers versus what they can charge to out-of-market customers. Adding App State or ECU adds literally 0 to the carriage fees of the ACC network because it is already charging the much higher in-market rate all across the state of North Carolina. Obviously, by adding schools in California and Texas, millions of households that had previously paid nickels per month for the ACC network would immediately be paying more than $1 a month for the same channel. That would mean tens of millions of dollars of new revenue for the ACC network every year, whereas again, adding a school that's located within the ACC footprint does not add any value in that particular and very important category. The bottom line, in the modern college sports world, which revolves mostly around football TV money, which at least in part revolves around expanding a league's geographic footprint, Why would any school in the ACC want to have more than 4 schools based in the same state? In this case, meaning, of course, the great state of North Carolina. That is the exact opposite of what the league's TV partners want and what the league members want. We know that ACC officials, along with their partners at ESPN, have looked at schools such as Cincinnati, West Virginia, SMU, Cal, Stanford, Oregon, and Washington in recent years. What do all of those schools have in common? They're all located in states that do not already have an ACC member. Again, that is not mere coincidence, and it underlines the ongoing reality that App State and ECU have not even been on the fringes of ACC expansion conversation, much less in the middle of it, not because of personal animosity, but because some of the most basic elements of college football's current television marketplace demand that to be the case. You never say never. Somewhere down the road, geography might matter more in a different way. More in the way that you want more of your fellow member schools to be closer to you for shorter trips. And with streaming taking on more importance and TV's Nielsen ratings taking on gradually less importance, maybe there will come a day where App State or ECU or somebody else can show the ACC or the other Power 4 conferences that many millions and millions of people care. The reality is right now, when 2 in-state schools play, most of the time, there are exceptions. When Duke and Carolina play in football, it's a small TV audience. Why? Because people in 49 other states mostly don't care. In fact, when ECU and App State last played on national TV, it was a tiny audience. Why? Because people in the other 49 states mostly don't care. The ACC and none of the other Power 4 conferences want anything to do with that math. So you can be mad if you're an ECU fan or disappointed if you're an App State fan. Just remember, it's nothing personal, and it's just how the college football television marketplace is working right now. I'm David Glenn from The David Glenn Show and the new North Carolina Sports Network. Learn more if you'd like to check out our YouTube channel, the DG Show podcast, or my articles. They're all available at our website, ncsportsnetwork.com. Thanks for being with us, and have a great weekend.